Standing cable hip abduction, as it sounds, it's targeting your hip abductors. So these guys are responsible for the leg, being driven out to the side or any lateral movements. But subsequently, it also helps stabilize the position of the hip such that if we do have weakness in our hip abductors, then during a lot of either squatting motions or single leg derivatives, we might find our knee always wanting to buckle inwards relative to the foot and the hip. So having nice, strong connection between your hip abductors and your core will help stabilize things at the hip and then ultimately influence on what the knee does or doesn't get, because a lot of knee issues that can happen are a result of deficits that are occurring at the hip. So what we want to do is have an ankle strap. We want to strap that around the moving leg or the outside leg. We want to hold on for balance, which is important because with a cable type machine or exercise with a pin loaded level, as we go up in weight, we're going to need to hold on to something to really balance. With the foot position, the standing leg is such that it's not too far forwards where the cable is going to hit against the front of the shin. So just make sure you bring your standing leg a little bit further back to avoid that. And then our standing leg is nice and close to the edge of the step. Now the step is there so that you can bend and stabilize through the standing leg and keep your other leg completely locked out and straight. Sometimes when you're on the floor and you're doing this as an exercise, you'll find the moving leg will always want to clip against the floor. So this exercise is just as much an exercise for the standing leg as it is the moving. So if you're feeling it just as much on one side as the other, then job well done. It's a win-win for both parties. What we want to make sure we do though is we want to make sure that we set ourselves up correctly on this standing leg. So unlock the knee. When we unlock the knee, it puts a little bit of tension on your iliotibial band, and your iliotibial band binds and joins into your glute. So when we put that tension on the band, we stabilize nicely at the hip. We want to make sure that we're stacked up nicely on top of each other so the hip, the knee, and the ankle are nice and level with each other, and when we pull, that we're not coming out with that standing leg. So set yourself up, stay in this position, and then the rest is history. Shoulders are straight, hips are straight, so no side bending. And other than that, this standing leg, this moving leg is nice and straight and almost rotating the leg and the foot inward so that we drive from the glutes. As we start to fatigue, sometimes you'll find people will start to toe out. And as a result, you'll start to feel a bit more work being done in muscles like your TFL or tensor fascia lata and your hip flexor. So rotate it in and then out we go. Now the angle of pull, this is probably the most important part, is if 0 degrees is directly to the sides, you want that angle to be about 10 degrees behind horizontal. So not to the side, not in front, but more of a little bit of an angle behind you. It's ensuring that also when you leave people alone with this exercise and as you start to fatigue, you might start kicking the leg more behind you and using your more dominant and powerful glute max muscle, but we want your glute medius or your hip abductors, so ensuring that we're going directly out to the side. Now with regards to that angle, if I was to demonstrate, here is directly horizontal or 0 degrees, and we just want that angle of about 10 degrees behind, but not through here. You can also lean forward slightly with the trunk as well, and that will just give you a better position or a better angle to be able to work with as that moving leg goes out to the side. Otherwise, great exercise. Just make sure that between sides that you rest at least 60 seconds to 2 minutes. As you'll find, that standing leg is working hard as it stabilizes, and if you switch sides straight away, it's going to feel like it weighs a ton because it's already pre-fatigued. So do one side, maybe go off and do another exercise not involving the glutes, and then come back and do the other side.